This past weekend was the weekend of almost majors. 3 massive tournaments in the US that technically weren't majors, but were all incredibly stacked within their own right. These 3 tournaments were Momocon 2023, Combo Breaker 2023, and Gateway Legends 2023. Today we'll be going over Momocon, but this is actually going to be somewhat of a part 1 of 2. Because today, while we will be covering Momocon Top 8, we'll also be taking a big focus on why people are upset about this tournament and this Top 8. On Thursday, I'll release the second half of this and go over Gateway Legends, and why people are incredibly happy with Gateway Legends. We'll be comparing and contrasting these 2 tournaments, because the 2 of them have one crucial difference. Steve was legal at Momocon 2023, while Gateway Legends had Steve banned. We'll be going over these 2 tournaments and analyzing them from both a competitor's and a spectator's perspective to get an idea on how this one character affected these 2 tournaments. Without further ado, let's get started with our top 8 recap. Let's get started with our 7th place finishers, WebJP and Chunky Kong. Yes, that is Donkey Kong on your screen right now. I'm sure you're all wondering about that, so let's start with Chunky Kong first. Chunky Kong is the only North American Donkey Kong rep at a high level, with Hikaru, the last Donkey Kong to make it far in a large bracket, being from Japan. Chunky Kong made waves this past weekend with upsets, but still having a fairly straightforward bracket. Chunky Kong started off the weekend by getting through his pool, dropping only 1 game to Av, but still winning the set to make it out of pool's winner's side. Chunky Kong then got 2 impressive wins back to back. He defeated Hyper Kirby in a close Game 5 set. Hyper Kirby, who we talked about in this video here, was a top 8 finisher at Cirque du CFL, and is Mugen with another tag. I actually didn't know that when I made that video, and I feel embarrassed about that, so I'm hoping some of you didn't know that either. Chunky Kong then defeated Murph, also in a Game 5 set. Murph is a player I want to mention briefly as a part of our larger theme of this video. Murph is a Chrom main who actually played Steve throughout a lot of this bracket. Now, when it comes to deciding whether or not Momocon was ruined by the quote-unquote lame characters, Murph is a confusing case. Many would accredit the outplacement of their seed to Steve, but we can see that Murph's Chrom is also talented from his close set with Chunky Kong. And I'm just gonna say it, Steve and Chrom are probably the 2 weirdest characters to pair together. Like, I have no idea what to think here. So in the case of Murph, we'll just slap a big undetermined sticker on them. Don't worry, we have plenty of Steve mains to go over later. Speaking of Steve, Chunky Kong went on to go up against Didi in winners quarterfinals. In the end, Didi defeated Chunky 3-0, not just with his Steve, but using Mr. Game & Watch, another character that many would consider lame or carrying, tying back to our central theme. Fun fact, according to the commentators of a future set, Didi had only been playing Game & Watch for 1 day up until this point. I am totally not sure if that's true and have no way to confirm it, but if it is, that's definitely interesting. Chunky Kong got knocked down into losers and had to fight Cosmos to make it into top 8 losers side. This set would go down to a Game 5, and it was as close as could be. In the end, Chunky Kong defeated Cosmos in a somewhat anticlimactic Game 5, making it into top 8 loser side. Cosmos, if you are interested, is actually picking up Joker. He was upset in winners by Shane, infamous Wi-Fi Incineroar main who I've actually fought before myself in a very not close set. I got fucked up. No! And I lost my jump. Alright, whatever. Either way, Cosmos got 9th, and if him picking up Joker can help his consistency, then I truly do hope the Cosmos Joker is cracked. Now, we're finally getting into some of the problems that made people mad about Momocon 2023, because next, Chunky Kong had to fight Wrath. Now, don't get me wrong, no one is saying that the players themselves were the problem, at least no one who's actually worth listening to. But Sonic as a character took up a lot of the top 8, as both Wrath and Sonic's made top 8, and their top 8 matches were all streamed. One of the main problems that people have with Momocon is that people just hated watching the top 8. This is a sentiment that has actually been extremely common in the Ultimate community recently. Even at Battle of BC5, a lot of people actually didn't even watch the top 8 once they saw the characters that populated it. This is a very unique problem to Smash Ultimate. You'd never see someone from games like Guilty Gear Strive, or hell, even Melee saying stuff like that. Ultimate is perhaps the only modern fighting game I can think of where a mass amount of the community has simply stopped watching the game out of hatred. Now, me, I'm not one of those people. And even though this video is going over why people are upset, I personally dislike the sentiment, and we'll be throwing in my 2 cents about a lot of these issues that people have within this video. Getting back to the top 8, Chunky Kong's set against Wrath seems like a hell matchup, and Wrath was about to prove to us why.
Stock situation. Bam, this is huge. Surely he is only a couple neutral wins away from grabbing a kill.
Oh,
and a win.
You got like
but,
2.
Yeah, you got to get around this
And the
situation.
chase.
Oh, what an
Oh,
air
the bear.
Get your feet on the ground, Chunky. Yes, he did.
Step back, yeah. He's trying to be safe here. Good nair.
Oh, I
Going
love
up.
that.
Yep.
The mix-up going off the top.
Mix up.
Really good stuff from Wrath right there, closing that one out. Clutch performance.
In the end, Wrath defeated Chunky Kong in a decisive 3-0, eliminating Chunky at 7th. Chunky's placement and win over Cosmos specifically is a fantastic achievement for Chunky, and Donkey Kong in general, and Chunky was definitely the low-tier hero of this tournament. Now we get to our other 7th place finisher, Web JP. Web JP is a Sheik player who was our other low-tier hero, depending on how good you think Sheik is. Web started off the weekend by sweeping the pool without dropping a single game. Unfortunately, it was here that Web had to go up against Fatality for his first set out of pools. In the end, Fatality defeated Web 3-0, sending him down to losers extraordinarily early. After having a close call with Lil Dill in a Game 5 set, Web started off their losers run with a good streak of wins, defeating Blue Jay and Murph back-to-back. Web then went up against Sonito, a talented Sonic main, and Web's last obstacle to make top 8.
Oh, want to get the jab check there. 1-2 jab. Didn't complete it. Wanted down tilt coverage. Uh-oh, down tilt up air. This will be the stock from Web JP. And moving on into loser's side, top 8 over Sonito.
Congrats, Sonito, a formidable.
Web defeated Sonito 3-1, and a good thing he did, because otherwise this top 8 would have 3 Sonics in it, and I think that would have broken the internet. While I said this was Web's last obstacle before top 8, technically it wasn't his last set. That's because Web then picked up a win over Cola to make top 8. Technically. Because you see, Cola DQ'd in the loser's top 8 qualifier. This is a big point of contention for a lot of people concerning Momocon 2023. Cola mains Roy, and is a hype player, generally speaking. And a lot of people were disappointed to see him DQ, wanting to see him and his hype character and playstyle spice up this top 8. So why did Cola DQ? Well, no one can really say for sure, to be honest, Cola's only statement being that he just didn't want to keep playing. Cola had been sent down into losers by Sonics in winners quarterfinals, a decisive 3-0 victory for Sonics that was undoubtedly rough for Cola.
terms of finding a win con. 115 on the board, the back air connects, and that will seal it 3-0 in the side of Sonic.
It's easy to imagine that after this loss, Cola just didn't want to play the game anymore. For a lot of people, this story of a hype player playing a traditionally cool character, losing in a demanding manner to Sonic, one of the most hated characters in the game, this set serves as a perfect example of why Ultimate's competitive scene is dying and getting lamer and lamer by the day. However, allow me to chime in with my 2 cents if I may. Sonic's is one of the best players in the game, and with good reason. The patience and mental fortitude that allows Sonic's to be one of the only successful high-level Sonic mains is extremely hard, and Sonic's is certainly not carried by his character. While you may be upset about the character, it's undeniable that Cola has been in a massive slump for a long time, and a break from the game where he's just not having fun anymore is probably the best thing for his mental right now. If Cola needs a break from the game, then I know he'll come out of it in a better mindset than he was at the time of his DQ. And if nothing else, it's good that Cola knows his limits, not forcing himself to continue in bracket when he knew he couldn't anymore. Let's get back to WebJP. Web was now in top 8 thanks to the Cola DQ, and went up against Anathema. Anathema is one of the 3 Robs in contention for the best Rob in the world, and Anathema was determined to solidify that spot.
That just goes nowhere, by the way. 186 on Rob. Didn't you put him in the blast? Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, are we going to see? Okay,
Jeez.
okay. Like how Webb's been using that neutral to bail him out of that situation when it is.
Oh,
my God!
there.
No way!
Oh, God. You a robber.
51%.
You are a
Are you
robber.
kidding me?
In the end, Webb lost 3-0 to Anathema, being eliminated at 7th. Whether or not you think Webb would have beaten or lost to Cola, Webb had a great losers run this tournament and performed excellently, and no matter what, it's always nice to see Sheik in top 8. Now we get into our top 5 finishers, Anathema and Wrath. We were actually talking about both of these players just now, but let's start with Anathema first. And while this is a top 8 recap, we still have a lot of things to talk about correlating with our central theme, so we'll be spending a little bit less time on the bracket itself. Anathema started off the weekend by sweeping pools and most of top 64, all culminating in a Game 5 win against, funnily enough, Wrath, his fellow 5th place finisher. It was here that Anathema would have to go up against Light in winners quarterfinals. In the end, Anathema lost to Light 3-1, being sent down to Losers Top 8 qualifier, where he'd have to fight DJ Dawn. DJ Dawn is another player we need to talk about for a moment. DJ Dawn was one of 2 younger Steve mains that did exceptionally well this weekend, with DJ Dawn making the better upset run. DJ Dawn started off as the 61st seed and got 9th, his most impressive win being his Game 5 win over Shane, who we discussed earlier. Critics of this tournament say that Dawn made such a good placement because he was carried by Steve, or even because he had quite a lucky bracket, all things considered. Not helping matters is the fact that DJ Dawn's set against Anathema ended quite interestingly.
Anathema focused. Oh, it's a wow. What happened? The block's not there, but he's standing on something.
What?
Is Steven breaking the game again?
You sit down and play.
Oh, Steve. He's in a block now.
Oh my God.
Rob is trapped in the block.
These 2 are just trolling each other. This is OD.
Oh, DJ Dawn popping off, getting the stock, but the forward smash. Anathema with the hard reads coming through,
The hardest
hooking his
reads.
way into top 8. What a clutch way to end things off.
What do you mean booking? How about bullying?
Anathema defeated DJ Dawn in a sweep 3-0, with the last game ending with Dawn giving up and he and Anathema working together to trap Rob in a block before dying. I'm just gonna say it, the comments on this video particularly are insane. Whether or not you like Steve or hate him, DJ Dawn is just a kid who's playing Smash Bros. There's a lot of people opting for personal attacks against Dawn, which in my opinion is the scummiest shit you can see in the community, especially considering its double standards in a situation like this. You always see preaching of be a good sport, don't attack people, until that player happens to play Steve, and then all those standards fly out the window. However, I do have slightly negative opinions of this kind of thing here. Not towards the players, mind you. At the end of the day, Dawn wasn't making Anathema mad by doing this. Both of these players were having fun, and that is an objectively good thing. However, the players is just one half of this, with the other side being the spectators, both in the venue and watching the stream. And when considering that, I understand why people were upset about this. Imagine this scenario for me, if you will. You just drove across potentially multiple states for this tournament upon hours of driving, where money is on the line and you would have given anything to do well at this tournament. Hell, even making it out of pools would have been a dream come true for you. Unfortunately, you went 0-2 again, a common situation for many a player. And as you sit down to spectate, the sadness washing over you, you look at the screen, hoping to see some good play from some top players in order to cheer you up. And you see this. Look, all I'm saying is I can understand why people were upset at someone potentially not taking this seriously when they would have given anything to be in that spot that Dawn was in, or even people who just wanted to watch some good Smash Bros. Now, me personally, I found this hilarious. I liked watching this set live, but some people didn't, and I understand why. That's all I'm saying. Back to Anathema. After defeating WebJP like we discussed, Anathema went up in losers quarters against Aaron, a set that, on the surface, looked like it could genuinely go either way.
Catch, man, just getting the bounce. That should just about do it right there, Bam. Yes, Aaron is moving on in the bracket. Good W from Aaron, but I gotta say, Anathema taking down a good game there too. A good tournament for Anathema. Making it to the top.
In the end, though, Aaron defeated Anathema 3-1, eliminating Anathema at 5th. Now we move on to our next 5th place finisher, Wrath. Wrath is a Sonic player who took a big break from Smash, but returned recently and immediately started getting at least top 4 at his locals, regularly beating players like Jazzo, Fatality, Mugen, and others. Wrath started off the weekend by sweeping pools without dropping a game, before losing 3-2 to Anathema, like we just discussed. Wrath then went on an amazing losers run, starting with his win over Squid Plumber, one of the 2 best Belmont mains in the world, and a decisive 3-0 win. Wrath then had a very close Game 5 set with Fatality, edging it out before going up against Jazzo for the top 8 qualifier. And this is definitely one of the sets that people point to explain why they stopped watching this tournament. Wrath took it over Jazzo 3-1 and moved on to top 8, where he defeated Chunky Kong 3-1 like we discussed. Wrath then had to fight Light in losers quarters. And if Sonic is known for slow gameplay, then Light went the speed of his namesake this weekend.
There.
Air to air.
We're looking for
The back
something.
oh, he crossed him
What
up
a
with that one.
trade.
That was gross.
Yeah, that was insane.
Dash attack.
You know what it is.
Attack,
You
back
know
air,
what time
okay,
it
on
is.
the platform. There you go. Light feeling himself after that one for sure. Well fought set though for Wrath. 3-0, but he brought it closer every single game, man. Even having the lead there.
Light took it over Wrath 3-0 decisively, eliminating Wrath at 5th. Now we get on to our 4th place finisher, Aaron. Aaron is a name we haven't heard all that recently in the Smash scene, but who had a good performance this weekend. Aaron started off the weekend by sweeping his way into the top 8. Literally, look at this. Aaron only dropped 1 game the entire time to Vendetta. Speaking of Ken players, Aaron then fought Jazzo in winner's quarters to make top 8 winner's side. Aaron made it to winner's semis, only dropping 1 game the entire time. Aaron then went up against Didi in winner's semifinals, a set that went quite differently than Aaron's bracket thus far. Aaron lost to Didi 3-0, and if you thought Aaron's bracket run with only 1 dropped game was impressive, just wait until we cover Didi. Aaron then went into losers quarters, where he had to fight Anathema, and defeated him 3-1 like we discussed. It was then that Aaron went into losers semis against Light.
I get my jump back, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, just going for the grab punish there.
Nice.
It is, and it's going to work out here for Aaron. Last stock apiece here. Oh, the tech chase.
Oh, got him, man. There it is.
Aaron lost 3-0 to Light, albeit in a set in which every game went to last stock. Aaron had a sweeping performance this weekend, only dropping 2 games in the sets that he won, but was eliminated at 4th. Now we get into our 3rd place finisher, Didi. Didi was the Steve main that got everyone talking this weekend, and not in the good way. But I'd like to be the advocate for Didi, against what the critics are saying, and hopefully you will too when we finish covering him. Hey, so want to hear something crazy? Didi swept his bracket. And I know I say that a lot, but I mean it the most I've ever meant it. Making it all the way to winners finals. And do you want to guess, just guess, how many games Didi dropped on his way to winners finals? I'll give you a second to think about it. None. You heard that right. Didi made it all the way to winners finals, getting wins over great players like Sinji, Sanito, Chunky Kong, and Aaron, and including 4 other players to make it into winners finals without dropping a single game the entire time. That is incredible. Many people complain about Steve, and you know what? Rightfully so. But I don't believe for a second that Didi is carried. Steve may improve a certain player's results, certainly, I won't argue with that. But you don't just pick Steve and sweep a bracket this stacked, this hard. I'm sorry, but that's just impossible. Didi had a stunning run this weekend, but it was put to a hard stop in winners finals against Sonics.
We're just having fun out here. We're just having fun.
We're doing something, that's for sure.
Welcome to the future, baby.
2, 1, time!
This set, Winners Finals, is one of the sets of the entire tournament that got people the most furious. At the end of the day, Sonics won 3-1 over Didi. This set got people furious over Didi, just like DJ Don, seemingly giving up and not taking the tournament seriously. Although this time it was much, much worse, being in Winners Finals with lots of money on the line. But, allow me to be devil's advocate for a moment. This set, at the end of the day, went this way because of the matchup. This matchup is infamously campy, and both Sonic and Steve will get comboed to death if they approach the other one without extreme caution or guaranteed damage. At the end of the day, Didi just didn't know how to play this matchup, and Sonics knew exactly how to. Didi went on Twitter afterward very confused about the matchup as a whole, to which the internet had some very helpful advice. Didi then went down into Losers Finals, and even though Winners Finals made people the most mad, Losers Finals did not go any better.
You're just going to lose.
Correct.
And you can see that happening right now. Didi just simply can't keep up. We'll see if he can do something to slow the pace of the game down.
He knows how to smother his opponents.
Oh, wow. Right, but my big worry is Game & Watch can be a pretty difficult character to play, and I heard Didi had only started playing Game & Watch as of yesterday, Ledge here.
This could be one of those situations where, you know,
Okay.
Light maybe gets a little too comfortable, and you just take advantage of that.
Insane neutral. Game & Watch here is one of the better characters versus Fox.
Yeah.
Just a very good out-of-shield game. Gonna have a really quick uppy out of shield. And right now, I don't think Light's falling for it. I feel like he's had practice against that specific move against another player. I'm trying to think of his name. Meister? Sour Dash Attack is going to be big damage here.
Oh, dang.
Oh, no,
dang.
no.
Deserved.
Okay,
I
okay.
appreciate that.
You know what? The crowd's loving it. The crowd's loving it. I'll give it up. We're having fun out here.
Oh.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, he wants it.
Okay, again? No? Okay, right here. 6, then... we tried.
We're trying to give you what you want. Well, Light said, I'm gonna give you what
Light
you need.
I'm done playing this game, man.
I'm going to give you what you need. There it is. Light delivers another 3-0, and he is back in Grand Finals.
Didi lost 3-0 to Light, going his Game & Watch on that last game. The same things I said about DJ Dawn versus Anathema applies here as well, although to a more serious degree since the stakes were much higher. All I'm saying is, I understand why people were not very excited to watch this. Didi went on a great run this weekend, decimating anyone who wasn't named Sonics or Light, but just couldn't figure out those two crucial matchups in time, being eliminated at third. Now we get into our top two finishers, Sonics and Light. Interestingly enough, these two players fought in Winners semifinals, with Sonics sweeping his way there, only dropping 2 games on the way, one to Teaser and one to Axel. Light had the exact same situation, making it to Winners semis only dropping 2 games, one to Fatality and one to Anathema. This set, Winners semis, Light vs Sonics, was actually one of my favorites of the tournament, going down to a close Game 5. Sonics won over Light just barely, the first time that Sonics has ever taken a set off of Light. Light said that he got matchup checked here, and that he knew Sonics would up smash, but he just didn't know it would shield poke. Light dropped down into losers quarterfinals after his winner semis loss. He defeated fellow Sonic player Wrath before defeating Aaron and Didi, all 3 of these losers sets being clean 3-0s. Light then went up into grand finals, ready to defend his title of Momocon champion. In the end, Light destroyed Sonics in the first set of Grands and then clutched it out in the reset, becoming the champion of Momocon 2023. Lots of people complained about this top 8, about the spectator experience, with a lot of these top 8 sets being played by characters who play much slower and play for time. But at the end of the day, Light still won, a player defined by going the speed of light with his gameplay. There are many people who are quote-unquote cool that did really good this tournament. Aaron, WebJP, Chunky Kong, and a lot of players outside of the top 8, like Jazza, who was on the verge of top 8, Fatality, who had a great performance after having a large slump, and others like Shane, Vendetta, Cosmos, and more. Additionally, I don't think any of the players that people were complaining about are carried or bad at all. Didi swept almost all of the bracket, and Wrath outplaced his seed and had an amazing performance. And Sonics continues to be the player that I think has the most unbreakable fortitude of any of the top 10 in the world right now. Was this tournament the most exciting to watch? Perhaps not. But I'm not sure that's the fault of these characters or these players, but rather matchups. A lot of the matchups that Sonics played on stream were matchups that he was required to play for time in. And the matchups that Didi lost, that he got so much heat for, were matchups that he really wasn't sure what to do in, considering his inexperience, because again, he's literally only 16. This top 8 was not the most exciting, with Aaron and Light being the most entertaining players of this top 8, but was this top 8 the death of competitive Smash and the decisive proof that this game is dead due to lame top tiers like half of Smash Twitter would have you believe? Not at all. I saw some people on Twitter genuinely compare this top 8 to EVO 2018 Grand Finals, the most infamous Grand Finals of Smash history, but I think that's genuinely stupid. At EVO 2018, those two players set out with the intention of fucking with the audience and basically flipping the bird at the game itself, while this top 8 were players who were genuinely trying their hardest, but just sometimes knew when they were defeated, because they didn't have the knowledge they needed to be able to compete with the Sonics of the bracket. On Thursday, we'll be going over Gateway Legends 2023, and why everyone is loving that tournament in contrast to this one. And while the point of this video was explaining why people are mad at Momocon, I don't personally agree with all the outrage. If you look at this tournament as a reason why banning Steve was a good idea, then honestly, that's fine. That's a valid take to take away from all this, and something we'll be talking about more on Thursday. But what I disagree with is the sentiment that this tournament was somehow all lame characters, the death of competitive Ultimate, and the pinnacle of everything wrong with the game. That, in my opinion, is just being a drama queen, or king, or just general monarch. Until Thursday, I've been Mr. Mice, and thank you all so much for watching.